My fellow Rotarians, I have a question for you. Who here would be terrified to do what I am doing now? Who here would be scared to stand up in front of an audience and talk? Who dreads having to give presentations? I see one hand up already. Who has gone out of their way to avoid situations where you'd have to stand up and talk in front of people? I do see some hands. What is it for you, Brittany?
Everything.
Everything. Very comprehensive answer. Very comprehensive answer. Who else? Peter, I saw your hand up.
I don't think I'm very good at it.
That is a very, very good point there. Yeah. Look, you are not alone. The vast majority of people rate public speaking as their #1 fear. That's 77% of people, according to the National Institutes of Mental Health. The fear of public speaking, or glossophobia, is the most common phobia, ahead of spiders and ahead of heights, even death. It's more than bears and snakes and scary clowns combined. We all know the symptoms: the sweaty palms, the pounding heart rate, the difficulty breathing, the nausea, the jitteriness, the needing to pee, sometimes all at the very same time if you're really lucky. If you've experienced glossophobia, you're in good company. Even some professional presenters have difficulty with it. Actress Carol Burnett, she got so nervous that she often threw up before her performances. One time, richest man in the world, Warren Buffett, dropped out of a college speech-making class just so he wouldn't have to speak in front of his peers. I was once like that too. So none of you knew me before I joined Rotary. None of you other than Todd, that is. Todd's online, I think. Todd and I worked together on several projects at CFB Kingston back when I was with Defense Construction. He probably wouldn't recognize the shy, quiet, mousy contract coordinator who really didn't say much during those construction meetings that Todd would make drag on longer and longer when everyone else just wanted to go home. And it wasn't just because I wanted the meetings to wrap up so I could leave too, although that was certainly part of it. It was because I was scared. I was uncomfortable to speak up and add my 2 cents. I said so little that he probably doesn't even remember me from back then, although it could just be because Todd's getting old. Thank you, I got one laugh out of that. I'd always been scared of public speaking, going as far back as a speech contest in my elementary school that I avoided. My brother entered and he made the final while I tried not to be seen. So the only time I let myself become the center of attention my entire life was for the best man speech at my brother's wedding. That speech, I practiced that speech for hours and hours every single day for a whole week. And the speech was only 3 minutes long, and I was a nervous wreck the whole time. It was a major weakness in my skill set and one that I was determined to rectify. So, an acquaintance of mine recommended Toastmasters to me. So I started investigating and visiting one of their local clubs. I didn't really know what Toastmasters was, didn't know what I was in for. At that very first Toastmasters meeting I attended, they did their prepared speeches for about 20 minutes. And then I'm invited to participate in something called Table Topics. That is a 2-minute off-the-cuff speech about a topic you have no prior warning of. And doubly so for me because I had no prior warning this is something they made us do at all. I am thrown right into that fire. I stand and I deliver 30 seconds of white-knuckled, immobile terror. Absolutely the worst. At my second Toastmasters meeting, this time at a different club, and no, not because I so thoroughly embarrassed myself the first time I had to switch clubs, it was a scheduling conflict. I did better. 40 seconds of terror. And the club president at the time later told me that I looked so nervous, she was certain I would not be back. That was 4.5 years ago, and I've never left. Start slideshow, please, Paul. What is Toastmasters? Toastmasters International, we're going to do that thing that presenters aren't supposed to do, but I'm going to do it right here. Read off the screen. Toastmasters International is a nonprofit educational organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. Now it's time for a little bit of history. Next slide, Paul. Toastmasters was founded by a man with the less than glamorous name of Ralph Smedley. Weird name, right? Sounds a bit like a Muppet. But he's no Paul Harris, that's for sure. Despite that, in 1924, at the YMCA in Santa Ana, California, Ralph Smedley started something that would go on to help over 4 million people and counting conquer their fears and become better public speakers. The first Toastmasters Club. Toastmasters has nothing to do with heating bread. It is a term at the time that referred to someone who gave toasts at banquets and wedding receptions and other social gatherings. There are now more than 280,000 members spread in over 14,700 clubs in 144 countries worldwide. Much like Rotary, Toastmasters is based on the local club structure with a membership of around 20 members per club. Each meeting is based around a set of organized speeches, which are then evaluated by other club members in form of constructive criticism, points of improvement, challenge yourself to become better, that sort of thing. Part of each meeting is devoted to table topics. That is the off-the-cuff speeches assigned on the spot by the topics master, which I found so terrifying when I was there the first time. The purpose of this is to learn to think on one's feet with minimal preparation, which we all consider to be the most difficult skill to acquire and certainly the most daunting. Next slide, please, Paul. So Toastmasters places an emphasis on building not only the public speaking skills, but also the leadership skills of its members. Their current education system consists of 11 paths, which you can see up on the screen right now, tailored to each member's own personal objectives and based around public speaking, interpersonal communication, management, leadership, and developing confidence. You can see some of the paths available right now. You got dynamic leadership and visionary communication. My first path was strategic relationships. And you can see that from being able to become an expert at giving presentations, being a good coach, or even making people laugh, there is a path for everybody. Next slide, please, Paul. So in May 2019, Rotary and Toastmasters formed a unique strategic alliance. This alliance is different from Rotary's relationships with other organizations in that it enhances your membership experience through a professional development opportunity. Toastmasters has created a set of 8 education courses available to Rotarians and Rotaractors through Rotary International's Learning Center. Rotary members get the opportunity to develop their skills and then can ask to attend a Toastmasters meeting to get an evaluation done. This program is available right now for free through the portal. It's a good program. I'm supposed to speak highly of it and recommend it, but it's not the real Toastmasters experience and certainly won't be as beneficial as joining an actual Toastmasters club. Next slide, please, Paul. First off, it's entirely online. And I think after the last 2.5 years we've all had a little more than enough of being online. Second, you miss out on the instant feedback and positive reinforcement you get from the club environment. You miss out on the mentorship opportunities that the experienced speakers and experienced evaluators at Toastmasters can provide. And you miss out on the active listening skills you get from learning how to really watch and pick apart another person's speech as you write and deliver a helpful, positive evaluation of that speech. Even for those of you who aren't scared of public speaking, Toastmasters can provide a huge benefit. As Rotarians, most of us do have to stand up in front of people and talk to be effective in our roles. We have to lead meetings. We have to pitch for fundraising. We have to network with community leaders. We have to be impressive while appearing at events. We've all been afflicted with terrible, boring speeches with muddled structure, with no entertainment value, with no point. Awful presenters with no stage presence, whose every other word is or but or like or so you know. We've all had that professor who just drones on and on and on and on. The one who reads his notes off of a cue card in one big long run-on sentence with no inflection and no pauses so that he sounds like a computer voice reading a VCR instruction manual from the 1990s, including extended warranty information. Or presenters with no audience awareness, like my one chemistry professor, where you could have replaced the class with a cardboard cutout of the class and he wouldn't have noticed. Toastmasters will help you be better than that. You will learn how to use, you will learn how to use your body language to hook your audience and to help drive home that point. You'll learn how to use vocal variety for emphasis. You can be loud and energetic to build excitement, to build and build to a crescendo, to whip your audience into a frenzy. But you can also learn to use the quiet and the slowness for greater dramatic effect. Toastmasters provides mentorship in a safe and supportive learning environment. Much of getting past the fear is exposure and realizing that you can get up in front of a crowd, and even if you do badly, if you forget the words, if people keep talking over you, you spill coffee on yourself, if they can't hear you over the air conditioning, if your PowerPoint doesn't work, if everything is falling apart around you and it feels like you're spiraling into an abyss, everything will be okay. Once you learn that, the education program, positive reinforcement, and practice, practice, practice will turn you into a better speaker. Next slide, please, Paul. So now that I've convinced you all to join Toastmasters, what are the available clubs in the region? Well, first of all, we have the Downtown Kingston Toastmasters Club. They're the biggest club in town. They meet Thursday at 7 a.m. That's in the morning for all you early birds out there. They cater to professionals and go-getters and other people who can wake up in the morning and communicate in a way other than monosyllabic grunts. Needless to say, you will never catch me there ever. They meet at the Cafe Church downtown. Next is the Cataraqui Valley Club. That is my club. We meet every Tuesday at 7 at the Trillium Retirement Home just down the street. We're the fun club in town with a great group of friendly people, plus me. Next, there's the Limestone City Club. They meet at the Anguinata Resource Center on Wednesdays at 7:30. They're a smaller club in a smaller environment for those of you who don't want to face a large crowd. They're probably the least intimidating place to start. There's also clubs at Queens who meet Thursday evenings, and St. Lawrence College who meet at Wednesdays at lunchtime. And those are open and available to all, not just students and staff, although obviously they do cater mostly to those demographics. And finally, there's the newest club in town, the Keys Toastmasters Club. That's at the Learning Center. They meet every other Monday at 6. Any of these clubs would be happy to see you. And not just you. I'm sure you all know someone who's practically screaming out for help in this field. Friends, family, colleagues, whose lives would be greatly improved by being able to speak in front of an audience with confidence and competence. So reach out to me after the meeting and I can give you an introduction or more information. Yes, it can be scary to speak in front of an audience. Most people go out of their way to avoid rejection, but for many people, this fear causes them to lose out on jobs, to miss promotions, to decline interviews, to drop out of classes. The avoidance doesn't help. It just makes it worse. It makes the anxiety worse. Yes, it can be difficult to speak in front of an audience with competence. Most people never develop the skills to do it well. But for many people, this inability causes them to lose opportunities, to fail to close the deal, to fail to get their message heard. But there is a solution, one that will help you overcome your limitations and to become the speaker you were always meant to be. It doesn't matter if you panic, or if you're bad at it, or if you're uncomfortable. That's the point. With practice, helpful feedback, mentorship, and the Toastmasters education system, you too can be up on stage in front of a big group, comfortable, confident, and with an audience engrossed in everything you have to say. Thank you very much.